Love changes everything. Grandma's porch, a place to relax, a place to enjoy. Come visit Grandma's porch. Everything changes when you find love. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, I talk about just about everything, and so I thought I'd come on here and talk a little bit about when you find love. And, when you find love, it's like the world completely changes around you. I'm a firm believer that love finds us when we're ready, not when we're hungry for it. I believe that when we're hungry for love, we rarely, if ever, find it. And so I've always believed in living my very, very, very best life, and building my own very best life and enjoying my best life. And that's what I was doing when love found me. Now, granted, I had several relationships before I met my husband. And, but when I met my husband, he was the absolute right one for me. And we were married. We got married, obviously, because he's my husband. But I had relationships prior to that. And I think each relationship that I had prior to that taught me something that I needed to know in preparation for the day that I met my husband. And so sometimes relationships will come into our lives and they will end. And so I believe that when the timing is right and love finds us, it can completely change our lives. And for me, I'm a firm believer that love tends to have a spiritual aspect to it. We have kind of a divine purpose, or we do have a divine purpose beyond just the relationship itself. And so for me, that's how it was with my husband. Of course, we have 3 beautiful children. And my husband and I have had about 30 years of togetherness that has been amazing and spectacular. And a few bumps in the road. I'm not going to say that we haven't had a few bumps in the road, because I think anytime you've been married long enough, you're going to have some bumps along the way. Maybe a few check holes and ditches too, but you get back up out of them. Some people lay there in the check holes and ditches. Other people dig their way out. And I think successful marriages dig their way out of those ditches, and they try to avoid as many ditches as they can in life, or check holes or bumps. But sometimes those do occur. So when love finds you, I believe it does change how you feel about yourself and about the world around you. And there's nothing much more magical than love, falling in love. I remember when I met my husband, that morning I woke up, I had had a very active, and I mean in a positive way, active single life. I was busy living my own life. I had a wonderful job, wonderful friends. I traveled. I did all kinds of things. And the morning I met my husband in the evening, but the morning of that evening, I woke up and I had this overwhelming, powerful spiritual feeling that I was going to meet my husband that day. And I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know who he was, but I could feel his presence, his soul presence around me. So I went throughout the whole day, and everywhere I looked for this man. And then towards the middle of the day, I thought, you know what? I must just be crazy. I must just be, making up all this stuff in my mind. But that night I went into work, and normally on Saturday nights I didn't meet anybody, I had a date afterward anyhow, and it was very quiet on Saturday nights at work. And in walks this very handsome man with another man. And there was something about him. that caught me. And obviously I caught his eye too, because he started talking to me. We didn't talk long, but somehow he got my number. And she asked me to go dancing that night, and I said, I can't, I've got a date after. The next morning he called me, woke me up, and I was in bed asleep at 7 o'clock in the morning. And he says, I don't know why I'm going to tell you this, but you're going to be my wife. And I said, I know, but call me back in 3 hours. I'm sleeping. And he called me back in 3 hours, and we talked for like 3 hours, but we couldn't get together that day because I had a date again. And the next day we got together. His plane had broken. He was on a plane. The plane had broken, and he was stuck there for 3 days. So I picked him up the next day, took him to the gym. We went to the gym together. We worked out together. Well, he worked out in his area. I worked out in mine. And later that day, we went to the beach, and we walked on the beach together. And I think we went to a movie the next day, to dinner. And I think, we just spent a lot of time just talking, walking and talking. And he had to leave. He was going across the world, actually. And so he called me from Ireland on Christmas morning, because this is Christmas time. And he called me as often as he could, but that was back when letter writing was around and we didn't have email. And so we wrote letters constantly back and forth. And so we wrote letters back and forth. And he was gone for about a month. And he said, I'm going to return, even though I don't live where you live, because he lived across the country on the East Coast and I lived in California. He said, I'm going to fly to California directly, and we're going to spend 3 weeks together. I have a 3-week vacation. And I thought, oh no, I hardly know this guy. And here we're going to be driving around and going places together. I loved it, and it was so magical, but it was I didn't want to ruin it. I thought, spending all that much time together, how's it going to go? Well, I have to tell you, we spent 3 weeks together. He rented a car. It was a New Yorker. I remember it was a maroon New Yorker, and we drove all around. We went to Las Vegas. We went to San Diego. We went to Hollywood. We went up and down the beaches. We went up and down the coast. We just had a spectacular 3 weeks together. Spectacular. It was magic for both of us. And he said, would you please, move to where I'm at? He said, I can't really move where you're at. And I'd already set my life up so that if something wonderful and amazing beyond what I already had came into my life, I was ready for it. So I had moved into my uncle's house and was overseeing his house while he was traveling. And so my furniture was all in storage. So I was just so able to get on a plane and fly to where my future husband was. He picked me up at the airport, and within about 9 months, we were married. And so we had this spectacular relationship then and all throughout and now. And like I said, you can have bumps in the road in life. That's just life. But, when you have love, that love can withstand so much. It really can. And so when I look back upon my relationship with him, I think about all those wonderful, wonderful years together. And yet we had a divine purpose together beyond just he and I. And maybe that beyond our initial attraction, we knew that spiritually. Somehow we knew that. So the point I'm trying to make is that when you find love, or when love finds you, when you're living your best life, being your best self, it does change everything. And if you don't have love in your life, just get busy living your own best life, being your own best you. And I always say, don't go out hungry looking for love, because when you do, you rarely, if ever, will find it. Because it's sort of like a magical thing that when you're busy doing other things and busy being happy, that's when it seems to find you, find people. But if you're hungry and desperate and needy, it tends to run the other way. I don't know why it's like that, but I just believe it is. But I will say this, that I was living my best life and being my best self, single, married, or any which way. I always lived my best life. And so love found me. and it changed me. It changed my life. So I hope you enjoyed my little story about how love changes everything. And often we will pick up and leave like I did. And I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying that that's what I did. And, you never know where love is going to take you. Okay? And keep believing in love. Don't give up on it. Believe in it. Don't be hungry for it. Don't be desperate for it. But I believe in always being open to it if that's what you want. From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope to talk to you soon again. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and share out my channel and let everybody know about my channel. Okay? May God bless you. Talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Grandma's porch, a place to relax and a place to enjoy. Grandma's porch.